Well, I managed to start off muted, so I guess that makes me a professional streamer now. Hello, everyone. Wow, there's like 24 people here. That's quite promising. Hi to everyone in the chat. Can you hear me okay? Is the microphone okay? Oh, there's a slight delay on the chat, so that's going to make life a bit complicated. Am I still muted? Cool. Okay, very good. There was going to be some background music as well. I should probably put that back on. Let's have some music. There we go. That's a bit more chilled, isn't it? Oh no, that's also muted. We're off to a flying start. Cool. Yeah, good that you can all hear me. So I bought one of those lav mics, you know, a lapel mic that clips onto your t-shirt. And I've been meaning to test it for pretty much the past week since I first bought it. And literally plugged it in for the very first time about 2 hours ago when I was getting OBS and everything set up. And it sounded absolutely pants. It was, you know, I was talking into it and it was just like, so I've quickly picked up my headset, which I use for my Zoom meetings and for work. But yet again, I think it adds to the whole streamer look anyway. So, yes, good to see the usual crowd here in the chat. Got the Digital Orphanage here. Wow. Garrow, Arse, it's an Arse. SLR Mod Shop, an old friend of mine from Twitter. Definitely go and check out that channel. Some good console modding stuff on there. Wow, Retro Box Room, yet again, someone I've given some shout outs to in some recent videos. Mark Fix's stuff, YouTube celebrity, live streamer extraordinaire, so I hope this is up to your standard. Yeah, I like it. Oh god, the gang's all here. 28 people, wow. So the Dopefish, that's the MT32 Pi developer that commented on my video that went up earlier. You've probably seen it, but put a video public earlier today just covering the Roland Sound Canvas and MIDI for DOS gaming and that kind of stuff. Is that your NetVista doing duty as a coaster for your mug? Oh, well spotted. You're ruining the tour, Pillock. No, it's all good. Yes, Windows 3.11. I've just been testing some stuff out on the video capture side of things. I just switched to that. That's the live video capture from my 486. I thought maybe if we get round to it, we could do some gaming in a bit. We'll switch back to big view, shall we? Jungle John, welcome. Arcade Ren. This is literally my first time streaming. I don't really watch all that many streams either, to be honest, so I have absolutely no idea. I've done no research. I downloaded Streamlabs OBS. I've plugged in a webcam and found my work headset, and we'll see how it goes, shall we? Oh yeah, Pillock. I've also enabled all the bot stuff, anti-spam stuff, so sorry about that. It's probably a bit on the severe side, but like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. So, Pillock's already in trouble. So, I guess I've promised you all a tour of my little studio setup here. So should we go ahead with the tour? Or do we want to sit and chat for a bit longer? Or I don't know, I'm easy, I'm all good. Oh. So to calm my nerves, I've made myself a giant cafetiere full of coffee, which I'll probably regret soon. We may have to go to a commercial break at some point. Jungle John, yes, it is an almost complete collection of ST format magazines. I bought them from a subscriber. So I have subscriber Wonder Discs and all the subscriber newsletters I got with them. This goes all the way up to about issue 76, I think, and then I think it only went up to about 84 issues in the end, so it's pretty much all of them. I'm missing a couple of the later ones. I've got a load of duplicates as well because I've been collecting them for a long time, so I really need to shift some of those on eBay at some point. Richard Shears, the Elmo Botherer himself, welcome. Retro Recollections. I'm going to regret the coffee coming bedtime. Well, I don't sleep anyway. Is the chat actually working properly? It's not coming up on the screen, is it? Or is it? Oh, maybe it is. Shall I go? I'll tell you what, before we start, let's go into the Streamlabs settings and just tweak some of these spam settings, shall we? Because I can't have the bot annoying people. What's that? Jungle John, thank you for the subscription. I think I'm supposed to play a load of obnoxious sound effects and stuff now, but I don't actually have any set up, so... anyway, where's this bot thing? That bot. Tell you what, let's just turn all of this stuff off. I'm going to trust you all to be good boys and girls and not spam my chat too much, so but I might have to tweak that as we go along. Can you show us all your Amiga stuff, please? Well, I do have an Amiga 600. It's a friend actually donated it to me a couple of years ago, but it's currently up in the loft in storage, awaiting a recap. I plugged it all in and the video output was completely screwed up, so I assume it needs recapping, but they're all surface mount caps on the 600s, so something I don't really have a great deal of experience with, but something I'm planning on doing, learning about and doing in a future video, definitely. Zarchos, hello. Unfortunately, I don't have any Archimedes action for you in this stream tonight, but maybe in a future stream if we do this again. Mark Fix's stuff. Show us your Stream Deck. You want to see my Stream Deck? This is professional stuff, this is. I've got the Streamlabs OBS app on my phone. Yeah, I mean, it's got lots of buttons and stuff. I'm not really sure what they do. Obviously, I've managed to find the mute button. Yeah, you know, got all the gear. Keep the Amiga in the loft where it belongs, absolutely. If you just show a lot of cleavage, you don't have to play the effects, I think. I mean, I could just sit here and read the chat all night, to be fair, but I think you guys are probably about 30 seconds ahead of me, and I'm talking about stuff that's already in the past, so because of the lag. So shall we get on with a bit of a tour into my collection? I'll just sit and wait 30 seconds for the answer to come through. Show us your rarest gear. I certainly intend to. Right, come on then, let's do this. Let's do this. So the only issue I have with this headset is that the cable's not very long, so I'm not sure quite how I'm going to wander around the room. But yeah, let's get on with it. Here we go. So I bought this webcam, which I can't actually show it to you, can I really? But yeah, it's actually got this tripod attached to it that turns into quite a useful handle. I think it's aimed at streamers and YouTube types. So yeah, this is my desk area. Obviously you've seen this all before if you've seen my videos. This is my original childhood Atari STE that I got for Christmas in 1991, I believe. I recently managed to track down the outer sleeve for the original box, the Discovery Extra Pack, which these are pretty difficult to get hold of. That was very, very kindly given to me by Was Brown from Retro Gamer magazine, oddly enough. I don't know if he's in the chat tonight or what, but the chat's well behind, so I'll just carry on rambling and I'll keep glancing over, and if anything pops up. Is the ST a placeholder for an Amiga? Well, that's very cheap, isn't it? So yeah, I've got my light up control key here. That's literally just arrived this week. I could only find the control. I wanted Control and Alt, obviously, to go with the theme. Yeah, so just a couple of my favourite childhood games here on the ST. So 9 Lives, which came with the Discovery Extra Pack, and Bubble Bobble, obviously. That's the good evening, Ralph. Nice to see you here. I can see what you're saying. So this is my custom sign that my good friend Rachel made for me. I think she's watching with Sam. Hello, Sam and Rach. I haven't seen them pop up in the chat yet, but they're not big chatters. So. These acoustic panels, these are super cheap ones from Amazon. I don't even know if they actually do anything, but they add to the look and make it all look a bit more professional. So. Yes, it's an arse. I did indeed get my key light. I didn't have to import it from America in the end and pay about £35 for postage. So this is my RM486. If you went to school in the 90s, as I did occasionally, you'll probably recognise one of these. These are old school PCs. This one's a 486. It was originally a 33SX CPU, which I've upgraded to a 486 DX4100. It's got DOS 6.22 and Windows 3.11 on it. That's all networked up on my home network, so I've got internet access on there, and I've got access to my NAS as well. I've got a file share on there, which makes it really easy to copy stuff across. I will be making a video all about this computer in the future. If you've seen the video that went out today, you'll know that I've also added a MIDI card internally, and of course I have my little MIDI tower of power here. I'll unplug it all as featured in today's video, so I can see the chat. Yes, the mysterious RM that I keep teasing you with. I actually, in this live stream, I was contemplating maybe stripping it down and showing everybody inside, but I think I'll save that for a proper video. I don't know how well a live teardown would go, to be fair. So yeah. There is some stuff just above the desk that I'll give you a cheeky glimpse of. We'll have a look at that later. But shall we move around to some slightly more boring stuff? The mic keeps glitching when you move. Okay. Not sure what I can do about that. We're rolling now, so we're just going to have to go with it. It'll be all right on the night, as they say. Oh, yeah, that's just popped into shot. This was actually the very first modem that I actually went online with. It's a 28K serial modem. Bit of an odd thing to put on the wall, but my very first experiences with the internet were on this very modem, and it's one of the things that kind of led to me being who I am and doing what I do today. So. Was it difficult to create the MT32 Pi in today's video? That's a very good question. Well, the MT32 Pi is just here. It's a bare metal thing, so it's not a Linux distribution or anything like that. So you literally just format an SD card. Ah, that's where my spare SD card, my camera got to. Been looking for that. You literally just format an SD card, pop it in, and it literally just works. You'd need a USB to MIDI cable to connect it to your sound card. Something I should have covered in the video. But yeah, and it just works. And to be honest, I think it sounds on par with the original MT32, and it will also emulate the Mark 1 and Mark 2 MT32s. So really cool bit of kit that. Also, if I discovered that before I spent all that money on a genuine MT32 from Japan, no, who am I kidding? I definitely still would have bought the original MT32. Anyway, that is a proper odd wall. Oh, the modem, yeah. Oh yes, and of course, as Dopefish. Dopefish is the hi Rach. I've just seen you pop up in the chat. Yeah, there's a really big delay on the chat, but yeah, Dopefish is one of the developers. It's obviously, sorry Dopefish, I'm not sure if you're a he or a she, but Dopefish is here in the chat. Yeah, we actually identified a bug in MT32 Pi today, thanks to my video. It's just a case of switching the left and right channels. So yeah, doing my part for the development process as well. What's under the desks? Oh, I was hoping nobody had asked this. Actually, that's very good. That's yeah, it's set me up for. So under the desk. Now this has actually been tidied, believe it or not. So this room is also my actual office when I work from home, and it has been for the past 10 years since I've been self-employed. So I have my printer and my shredder in here. Probably not very exciting. This box here is an Atari 2600 Vader, which belongs to a guy called My Retro Tech, a guy called Bob. I'm not sure if he's watching. He sent that to me probably when lockdown was first announced. So when was that? Was that March? And I'm supposed to be installing an Ultimate Atari video board in that. And I keep letting him down, and I keep apologising to him, and he insists that it's fine, but I'm sure it's probably not. And if you are watching, I will definitely get around to that. Also under the desk here, we have a 110 volt transformer, which is absolutely essential if you import stuff from the US and Japan. We all know you order stuff from Japan as an excuse to order in more Mr. Driller merch. Well, yeah. Ah, very cool. Yeah, like I say, this has all been tidied. So these, I really hope there's nothing embarrassing in these drawers. I'm sure there isn't. These are all NetVista parts. Microsoft mice. I went through a period of buying Microsoft mice for some reason. But they're very good mice. Actually, when my old work mouse broke, I actually used this one for a few days, and it's actually really nice, even in this day and age. I think it's an original PS2 compatible IntelliMouse. So there you go. Betting you spent hours tidying today. Well, I've been tidying all week. Yeah, that's about 2 hours today. This drawer, this is Mega Drive and Master System stuff. This is the Mega Drive stuff is all my actual childhood Mega Drive stuff, and the Master System stuff is my wife's from her childhood, all of her old games and controllers and things in there. I don't know where the actual consoles have got to. I'm sure maybe we'll discover them on our way around. And that's just cables. Far too many cables, power cables, AV cables. Labyrinth mouse map. Mark fixes stuff, wants to see the Labyrinth mouse map. Where is it? There you go, Mark. What can I say? You remind me of the babe. Right. So yeah, we've done the STE. As I said, I've got the almost complete collection of ST format magazines. This is where I keep the cover discs for all those magazines, and also the duplicate cover discs, and I have hundreds of them. They're PC discs, but these two top boxes are all ST format and Amiga format, and ST Amiga format discs, and yeah, I've got, these all fit in the box. Where's the wine cupboard? The wine cupboard's downstairs. I'm going to be hitting the wine cupboard after the stream's over, I think. But I have to say, I think it's going well. What are we? 38 people. Wow. Oh, no, it's good to see that my wife's watching as well. Just to not only have we got professional streamers in here, we've also got the wife. So no pressure at all. I'm cutting out. probably our dodgy internet. So let's move on to this tower of nonsense here. Apologies for the LED panel lights, but the illumination in here is terrible. So this is my Famicom stuff, and this is kind of a storage area here. There's quite a lot of junk, but also my wonderful Famicom collection, which should be on display, but it's not really. As you can see, it's just piled up. So I've got the complete set of these Namco arcade conversions. Some really good stuff in there: Galaxian, Pac-Man, Xevious, Dig Dug. Got the robot and both of the games that go with that. I'm really limited on cable length here with the camera and the headset. So, and I've got the Famicom and the disk system up there. Down here, we'll. Oh, good. So this is the light gun for the Japanese Famicom. If you don't know, the Famicom is it's the Nintendo family computer, which is the original version of the NES or the NES from Japan. This is the light gun. I went through a right palaver trying to get Bai to ship this to me because they apparently don't like shipping anything that looks like a gun, and it does actually look very much like a gun. I don't know if I can get this out of the box. Should I get it out of the box? Let's get it out of the box. Live unboxings and everything, eh? This is professional. So yeah, that's the Nintendo Famicom light gun, and as you can see, you could probably rob a post office with that. So I'm not surprised they didn't want to ship it to me, because they probably thought I'd end up going to prison. So we got there in the end. I know that Nostalgia Nerd, not to name drop, but he was complaining on Twitter that they wouldn't ship one to him. And I told him to just be persistent, but I don't know if he actually got anywhere in the end. I haven't seen it pop up in any of his videos. I'll leave that there, that's fine, whatever. Serious question, how does the Famicom gun attach to the console as the controllers are wired in? Yes, they are wired in. So the Famicom, oh, this isn't going to work, is it? Hang on a second. That's not precarious at all. So the Famicom has this expansion port on the front under that red cover. I'd reach up and grab it, but I'm all tangled up in wires at the moment. The gun plugs into there. There are some third-party controllers and things that plug into it. There's also this, obviously the power glove you probably know about, that plugs into the expansion port. The Family Basic keyboard, these Arkanoids that come with the custom spinner controllers, they plug into the expansion port. So there's quite a lot of stuff that uses it actually. The robot, that's the controllers that actually manipulates the controllers directly using his little robot hands, I believe, a system of pulleys and levers. Make sure you don't stand on that box. Right. What are we doing? Wow, we're nearly half an hour in and we barely started. I'm going to have to start rattling through this stuff. Otherwise we'll be here all night. Mind you, I've got nothing better to do. So yeah, a couple of Dreamcasts here. One of these has got the GDEMU installed in it, which is the optical drive emulator. So I've got hundreds of games on an SD card. I've got the controllers and some games there. These were all given to me by a friend of mine a long time ago, 20 years ago. This is my one of my PVM monitors, PVM style monitors. This one I've wrapped in wood grain vinyl, as you do. Yeah, that works. collection of books, the read-only memory books, and what's the name of the other publisher? I can never remember. How are we all doing in the chat? All still going, very good. Up here I have a Japanese N64, which you will have never seen before, and a collection of games and things, and I have an RGB mod board to go in that. You can't RGB mod the UK consoles, but you can mod some of the American consoles and the Japanese ones. And my plan was, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I was going to give this away in some kind of competition. I should probably get on with that as I'm approaching 900. I'll give away all of the games and the controllers as well. So just a heads up there. Hard to hear you when you move your head away from the mic. Sorry about that. Right. So these are just my project boxes where I keep my soldering stuff and electronic stuff. Nothing interesting in there. My obligatory retro man cave mug there. I don't know if Neil's in the chat. I haven't seen him pop up yet, but plenty of his homies are. Moo gun, desoldering gun, loads of electronic parts, chips and stuff for future projects, multiplexer chips for Archimedes joystick interface I'm going to be building at some point in the future. All my video capture stuff lives in that box over there. Down here, a couple of things you'll probably recognise if you're a regular viewer. I have the Neo Geo sticks and some of my one joystick to rule them all adapters. That's the Atari adapter. So that's for plugging a Neo Geo joystick into the Atari 2600 and the ST. Essentially anything that uses the Atari joystick format. It would also work with an Amiga as well. Amiga fans in the chat. It would also work with this, which is an XE game system. This is actually my spare XE game system, because you never know, you might need a spare XE. That's a Picade bar top arcade, which I've never done anything with. And down here we have the obligatory Mac. That's probably one of the oldest things in my collection, along with my RM 486. I've had that since about 2005 when I very first started collecting, and now it just sits there gathering dust in the corner. So how are we all doing? Any questions so far? Got some Amiga fans in tonight. Always good to see. Can you play as a tune on your keyboard? Well, not now. If there's enough demand, maybe I'll do a musical live stream and play and sing some songs for you. But it's not plugged in and ready to go at the minute. And besides, I think I've got enough stuff to cover tonight anyway. So this is my latest arrival. This arrived yesterday. It's an Atari Video Music. Can I play the keyboard? Well, Richard, I am having lessons. Doesn't necessarily mean that I can play it. Oh, Naoki, it is it's a Yamaha P35. My lovely wife bought that for me for my 30th birthday 5 years ago. And you would think, having owned a keyboard for 5 years, that I would be amazing at playing it, but I'm really not. It's very and sing too. Well, yeah, absolutely. I could connect it to the MT32. Yeah, the chat's a little bit behind, but I will. Oh, what's the Britsoft thing? The Britsoft thing. Oh, that's a book. So that's. Yeah, let's grab that. So it's interviews with British software developers from the 80s and 90s. Don't know how much of this I can show you. without breaking some kind of copyright law and going to copyright jail. I'm just trying to find a list of the developers in here. I know Jeff Minter's in there. Oh, Peter Molyneux. Rob Hubbard. Yeah, David Darling. So yeah, there's I believe that was a Kickstarter, although I think that book's still available. I've got the poster up at my office as well, because we're very professional in my office and have posters of games consoles and things on the walls, as you do. Very Silicon Valley. When did the Atari sound thing show up? That was I don't get the 30 seconds thing. It's just a YouTube thing. It's just it probably doesn't help that we're quite rural here and our broadband isn't brilliant. Chris Graney, Chris, have I shown my coaster? Yeah, the coaster that came with the Art of Adventure Games pack. There is the coaster with the enormous pot of coffee and the box that I absolutely should not stand on. Any plans for the Mac? I'd like to make a video about it at some point, but to be honest, I don't really have much love for the Mac. I don't really have any history with it. So it's kind of bottom of the pile as far as priorities are concerned. We'll carry on, shall we? Yeah, so in this box here I've got my MSX. It's a Sony HB101 MSX computer. That's a Japanese import as well. And quite a sizable collection of MSX games. There's some Game Boy stuff in there as well. I don't even know what's in there. There's Mr. Driller stuff in there. There's Mr. Driller stuff everywhere. Right, shall we come round to this side now? This is where the fun stuff is. "38 people. Oh, this is getting complicated. All my cables are tangled up. So I've got this high-tech mobile laptop solution here. As you can see, it's no expense spared there. Really useful box. I've just seen a comment about really useful boxes. I'm sure my wife will tell you that I have a thing for really useful boxes. I've got hundreds of them and more keep arriving. But they are indeed really useful, and they're made in the UK. So there you go. Anyway, on to some PC games, I think. So top shelf stuff here. We have the absolute classic that is Daikatana up there. Fantastic game. No, I'm joking, it's terrible. We've got Deus Ex, Rise of the Triad. Used to play that absolutely loads as a kid. Sorry, I'm being strangled by my cables here. One of my favourite first-person shooters of all time. Famously based on the Wolfenstein 3D engine and allowed you to look up and down and all sorts of crazy stuff. I think it was one of the first games that allowed you to do that, actually. Up here I've got Seventh Guest, I've got Quake 1 and 2, obviously I need Quake 3 to go with that. Half-Life, the original Half-Life in the expansions, Opposing Force and Blue Shift, Carmageddon and Simcopter. That's a boxed, sealed copy of Simcopter. I'm going to make a video at some point where I unseal that and do a bit of a review. Grand Theft Auto, no explanation needed. Planet X 3, that's the 8-bit guys game. So Doom. Yeah, really useful boxes. I mean, they are expensive compared to the cheaper ones, but they do go on offer occasionally. You do see them cheap when someone like Amazon ends up with far too many of them. And they do last forever. Holy hell, big box karma. What is that mug? We'll get to the mug shortly. Oh, this mug. Oh, that's a Black Mesa Research Facility mug. Half-Life. And I've got my little Master Chief up there. And my Goat Simulator Goat. So I've got my Doom collection here. Doom's one of my absolute favourite games of all time. I've got the original Doom, Doom 2, Doom 3. I've got the big box Sigil, which is the expansion pack that John Romero did. Was it last year? I've got a couple of my original sort of loose games from some favourites from back when I was a teenager as well. So we've got Quake, Duke Nukem 3D, obviously. There is one of my favourite Command & Conquer games, actually. Probably after the original Red Alert, probably my second favourite. So, yes, Archimedes and Acorn stuff. I'm not sure if Zarchos is still with us. Got some Acorn Archimedes game. The Centre for Computing History was selling these on eBay. And they always put stuff up for bid, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people bid on them, and they tend to go for pretty cheap. Along with these Archimedes magazines. These are A5, so I'd love to get them down, but everything will just go everywhere if I do, so apologies. But yeah, A5 sized like magazine booklet type things to do with the Acorn Archimedes. That's the Archimedes release of Wolfenstein 3D. I posted that on Instagram when I got it, and I actually had a comment from John Romero saying that he didn't have it in his collection and would I like to donate it, and I said yes, and that must have been about 3 years ago, and obviously I never got around to sending it to him, so yeah, sorry John. All these boxed Acorn Soft games, these are all cassettes. Yet again, it's all tightly packed. Leave those where they are. Just there we are. Oh, games made of cardboard. Welcome. I tell you what, games made of cardboard. I just want to mention him. I'm sure the chat's probably moved on by now anyway, but I discovered his channel when it was relatively new and he was struggling to get it off the ground, and you know, I think he was even sorry if this is a bit too personal, but he was talking about giving it up at one point, and then it just suddenly exploded, and I was really happy for him. And he, you know, the videos were featured in some of the you know, some of the gaming websites, and you know, it's really well-earned success because it's a huge amount of work obviously goes into his videos. So I would highly urge you to go and check out his channel because it is awesome. And I've been following it for a long time, and I think it deserves a lot of love. Anyway, just having a moment there. Retro Recollections, thanks for joining us. The stream will be available to watch back later if you so choose. So anyway, this is my this is kind of Acorn stuff here. So we've got the old BBC Micro school computer from the 80s, classic 6502 based machine, lovely keyboard on those. I've got the tape deck for that as well. Obviously the Archimedes, we've got the, if I can get it out, probably not. We've got the Acorn Electron there. That was my the very first computer I ever owned as a kid. We had one in the house. My introduction to computing, and kind of what led me down the career path and led me to this crazy hobby that I have today. So there's a lot to answer for. Right, we'll move down again. This is an Atari stunt cycle. Right. This is an interesting thing, if I can get it. So just watch me struggle. It's a dedicated TV console that predates even the 2600. It's based on the Atari stunt cycle arcade game. Jump 32 buses in your living room. It's obviously cashing in on the whole Evel Knievel fad of the 70s. That I need to modify that with a composite mod so I can connect it to a modern TV and get some video footage from that. I've also got my 2600 here. We'll just move the turtle out of the way, shall we? So this is the original Sunnyvale Heavy Sixer model. That's an NTSC one. It's had a light restoration and a Ultimate Atari video board fitted to that, which is an excellent upgrade. Gives you S-video and composite output. Interestingly, this stream is in 1080p. Yeah, I chose that in Streamlabs. It defaults to 720p for some reason, and I thought, well, that's not good enough. So I thought I would risk it all and change it to 1080 and see how we get on, even on our rural broadband. Oh, sorry, Dave. I mean, Amstrads. How many Amstrads do you have? I have. What do I have? I have a PC 1512 up in the loft, which has been butchered a lot. The PC 1512 only works with the monitor that it's shipped with, and the power supply is built into the monitor. And I was essentially designing and building a video board, which I called the Amstrad Video Liberator, that would allow you to be able to connect the 1512 to an external power supply and basically any modern monitor. As with lots of my projects, it got to the point where it was pretty much just about working, and then I moved on to something else. But it's one that I definitely want to pick up on again at some point in the near future. What's the grey Atari joystick? Well, these came with the XE game system. I have a boxed XE game system. I'll show you that in a minute. This is the famous IBM NetVista PC that I bought from Neil at the Man Cave. This was the charity auction that he had. Was it earlier this year or was it last year? Time is what this year's been like. But yeah, this it's a 1.6 gigahertz Pentium 4, which I've upgraded to a 2.8. There's a GeForce FX 5700 in here, 512 meg of RAM. Just trying to think what else I've put in there. Sound Blaster Live. That is a candidate for a future video. I managed to track down the matching monitor. That was kind of half working when I got it. I cleaned it up, retro-brighted it. I also found the LCD monitor from around the same era. This computer here Do you have Blood, The Seventh Guest, Harvester, Phantasmagoria 1 or 2, or The 11th Hour? I have The Seventh Guest, and I'm meaning to check it out in the very near future because it has MT32 support. Yes, you're talking about the set-top boxes that can be modified to run RISC OS. This computer here is one that I've had since I was a teenager, and that's a Athlon, that's a Slot A Athlon 650. It's got a GeForce MX 440 in it, I think. Half-life machine, obviously. Atari 520 ST. Okay, I'll just destroy that. That's the original Atari ST from 1985 with the external floppy drive. That is a nice little Lego Atari 2600 diorama. We all still with us? We all still having a nice time chatting about set-top boxes? So yeah, I mentioned that I have some duplicate SD format magazines. If anyone wants any SD format magazines, let me know. I need to get rid of those. Atari user binder, that's 8-bit era Atari magazine. Atari Mega ST. This is the dot matrix printer that went with the STs, the SMM 804. That's quite rare. I won that actually pretty cheap on eBay, and then the seller managed to break it and cancelled my order. And I said, no, just send it to me. And he basically let me have it for nothing. And then I managed to find the broken top cover and order that from Best Electronics in California, as you do. Get out the Jaguar. Oh, well, now you're talking. Yes, we will have a look at the Jaguar in a second. So my Atari ST games. The Atari ST was the computer of my childhood. I've started collecting the Dizzy games. How many of those have I got? I've got 4. Got the complete set of Bitmap Brothers games. I think I'm just missing the expansion pack for Cadaver. But that didn't come in a box anyway. That was just a floppy disk that got mailed out to people, so not desperate for that one. Oh, we're stuttering. Why are we stuttering? I'm going to carry on. I hope it's all okay. I don't think it is. Oh, Bill. So, are we still good? The video's stuttering quite a lot at my end. I think my laptop's starting to overheat because it was on a chair rather than on a desk and the vents were blocked. So it may take a couple of minutes to cool down. Rebadged Philips monitor. Yes, it is. It's a CM8833 Mark I. It was also available badged as a Commodore 1081 or 1084, I think. I'm not an expert on Commodore stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, the fan's going flat out on my laptop, but it was sat on that chair, which probably isn't ideal for ventilation. It's now back on the desk. Oh, and the video's working properly again. I think it was just an overheating issue. Looks like it has the Archimedes logo on it. Yes, it does. So that's the official. It's the AKF 11 monitor for the Archimedes 305. I kind of skipped over that, didn't I? The Archimedes 305 was the very first computer to be powered by an ARM CPU. I have to be careful how I word that because there are some Acorn people out there who will pick fault if you say it was the first computer with an ARM CPU, because the ARM CPU, of course, was available as a co-processor for the BBC originally. And if you know all about that, you're incredibly boring, as am I. These are the pin badges that came with Atari Lynx games. I do have a Lynx and some games, which I'll show you in a moment. So I think we need to hurry up a bit. So yeah, these ST format binders, I bought these as a complete set. It was like 50 quid for the whole set, which, considering you've got, what, nearly 80 magazines in there, plus came with all the cover discs as well and the original binders, which you never see for sale. That's probably my bargain of the year, actually. That's going to be featured in they're going to be featured in my upcoming projects and pickups video for this month. I do a video roundup every month of all of the stuff that I bought in the previous month and all the projects that I'm working on. Mark fixes stuff. He loves the Lynx badges. Generally, these are like a couple of quid each. You can pick them up for next to nothing. Yeah, I love little stuff like that. Ah, Was is in the chat. Hi, Was was the guy I was telling you about earlier who very kindly sent me the Discovery Extra sleeve, which was a really big part of my childhood, and I've been looking for one of those for a very long time. So thank you, Was. Right, where was I? Oh, we're getting on to the good stuff now, the really good stuff. So Atari Jaguar, console which needs no introduction. That's the Pro controller. Now, that's actually a reproduction Pro controller made by AtariAge.com. The original ones go for really, really silly money. Obviously, for the Jaguar, I have the game drive, which is the flash cart, the first sort of proper, full-featured SD-based flash cart for the Jag. I did a video all about that a few videos back on my channel, if you haven't seen it. A really cool bit of kit that is. And, you know, some really good games on the Jag. I think people tend to remember the slightly more rubbish ones. But there are maybe 4 or 5 gems. Probably not worth owning a Jag for unless you're really passionate about Atari stuff. But a Welsh Dragon 32 somewhere. I don't have a Dragon 32. SD format reading stream. Well, yeah, I'd quite like to flick through them actually. I do read these magazines occasionally. I will sit down and... This is the part where the wife tells everyone that I'm a massive liar, but I'm sure she's seen me at least once reading one of these magazines. Yes, wish you'd get the CD working on the Jag cart. That's a very good point. The Jaguar CD units are like £1,000 or something, probably more. Something I just can't justify. So yeah, the CD support is coming to this flash cart. It would be good to check out some of those CD games, definitely. So next up, the Atari 800. Nice little... That's another MOS 6502 based computer like the BBC. This is from 1979. Yeah, I've got the... these are pretty rare in the UK. I imported this one. This is an NTSC American Atari 800 with the numeric keypad. This trackball was a gift from Neil at Retro Man Cave when I popped over to see him the other day. I think he bought this one to restore and it was just beyond help. So he bought a different one and gave that one to me rather than chucking it in the bin. So thanks, Neil. This is the Atari 410 cassette deck. That was actually refurbished by the seller. That's had a new belt and everything, so that's all working. He also left his head cleaner tape in there, which is very generous of him. So I don't have many tape decks to clean. So 5¼ floppy drive for the Atari 800, that's the 810. And I've just got a collection of tapes at the back there. It'd be nice to be able to display those, but some good Llama Soft stuff in there. Hobber Bobber, that's Jeff Minter, isn't it? I think Attack of the Mutant Camels as well. That one. So yeah, I'm going to be working on a video. I think that's probably going to be in the near future, where I just go through some 8-bit Atari games on the 800 and just kind of compare the cassette-based games and the cartridge-based games and obviously the disc-based games. Digital Orphanage. My house is overrun with Dragon 32s at the moment. Well, if you have any spare, you know, I'm happy to accept donations. Pillock used to have miles of that racking. Yeah, I've only very recently put this racking in, like in the past couple of months. I thought it would gain me a lot of space, but actually a lot of stuff has come out of storage and I'm out of space again. But it's nice to have some of this stuff on display anyway. So, IBM 5150, the original DOS PC from 1981? 83, well, I'm sure someone will correct me. I got the CGA monitor for that. It actually has an EGA card in it, and it can display EGA graphics on a CGA monitor, and I made a video about that, so you should watch that. This also has the PC Sprint overclocking board installed, which I also did a video on not that long ago. So this, I think you can switch between the original 4.77 megahertz up to 7.16, I think, which makes a massive difference with performance because obviously it's nearly twice as fast. There's a NEC V20 CPU in there as well, and the 8087. No way, what are those miniatures? Are they the Doom models? Well, we'll see shortly, shan't we? Pillock, good to see you. Have a lovely evening. Thanks for joining us. Forgot you had the 5150. I'm very interested in getting one of those for some reason. Yeah, well, I was very interested in getting one for some reason that I couldn't quite explain, and then I got one, and actually I love it. It's a really great machine. But then I grew up messing around with DOS, so I've also got an original Adlib card there. That's actually, well, I say original Adlib, it's an Amstrad clone of an Adlib card, but it does have the OPL2, the YM3812 sound chip on it. So also an OPL3 LPT, which is a parallel port Adlib sound device. I was going to put a video together at some point comparing the two. Obviously I'd had to borrow that and stick it in the 486 to get my footage, my Monkey Island footage for my video that went out today. You've ruined the tour! The Doom miniatures, they're not the original Doom miniatures, they're the reissued Doom miniatures. They're not the ones that are worth an absolute fortune. I will point out, because my wife is present, they did a limited edition reissue of them a couple of years back, and I was one of the very lucky people who managed to jump on it before they sold out, which was pretty much immediately. So they're not the ones that are worth thousands, but they're still very cool. So yeah, you got your little Doom guy there, and your Lost Soul. That's the John Romero head that comes with Sigil, the big box version of Sigil. That's not one of the original miniatures. I have my Puckman game. This is the very first thing I put on Bai. This game has a lot to answer for. Bai, obviously the Japanese shopping and forwarding service. This is my IT crowd, Oric Atmos. So this appeared, if you're familiar with the Channel 4 sitcom, the IT crowd, when was that on? Mid to late 90s, was it? Perhaps a bit later than that, actually, early 2000s. This was used as a prop on the show. This was one of the first videos I made on my channel, was the story of how this came to be in my possession. Recently restored this and got it all working as well. It had some faulty RAM chips, but that's all up and running now. I really love the Oric, actually. It's got a really nice keyboard on it, and it's got some quite unique games, so it's quite a cool system, that. Which I wasn't expecting. I bought it because of the IT crowd connection. Can we see the Puckman game? So, I think this is essentially... I've never seen this anywhere. I think the version we had in the West wasn't Puckman branded, or Pac-Man branded. It was like a frog that spun around in the middle and you flick things into its mouth. I think they were like lily pads around the outside. I vaguely remember it as a kid. Incidentally, this was faulty when I got it. The motor had burnt out and I fitted a new motor. So that's all working. That would be a fun thing to do on a stream, I think, if I had any friends to play it with. No, I'm joking. My friends are all here. All 33 of them. Oh, that's using that as a stand. That's my Zune. It's not the brown one. You'll be disappointed to hear. It's the white one. Hungry Hippos, yeah, it's slightly different to Hungry Hippos. Hungry Hippos, obviously, you've got to grab the marbles from the middle, but that you kind of had to flick them into his mouth. Digital Orphanage, yes, from Jason's prop company, yes. What are they called? Pure Energy. Yeah, so he was auctioning that. The proceeds went to the Centre for Computing History in Cambridge. I've bought a few things off the Centre for Computing History. Yeah, that was what? No, 2015 I bought that, so. Can we see the Atari 800 again, please? Oh, well. I don't want to disappoint. you want a closer look at the 800, let's have a look inside this thing. I've got the original power supplies and cables and stuff behind all of these machines in a vague attempt to try and keep things organised. So this has the top that flips open. That's the ultimate cartridge, which is the flash cart for the 8-bit Ataris. I've got the entire set of 8-bit Atari games on an SD card, and I think that's a 16 gig card, and I think the complete set of games is about 10 megabytes in total or something. It's really silly. The cool thing about these machines, and I'm not going to take it apart now, but there's a couple of screws that you can take out in the back, and this whole top panel comes off, and the ROM and the RAM are basically cards that slot into it, so it was expandable, and you can get modern operating systems and ROMs and things that you can slot in there, modern RAM expansions and that kind of thing. So really interesting machine that. And of course they made the 8-bit Ataris in one form or another until 1992, I think, with the XE. Did I ever see the terrible unaired IT Crowd American version? I did, yes. Yes, it was terrible is certainly the word for it. Sorry, I've just realised I made this massive pot of coffee and it's gone cold and I haven't even drank it. So let's have a coffee break, shall we? Bobbus74. Hello, Bob. The guy whose Atari I have that I was talking about earlier. There it is. Proof that I haven't lost it or binned it or sold it on eBay. I promise I will definitely get around to modding that, I promise. Yes, he goes by the name of My Retro Tech on Instagram. He's got quite a following now. He's got some really cool pictures on there, so maybe go and hunt him down. Sorry for the slight break, I'm just drinking my coffee. How are we all doing? Hi Bob, everyone say hi to Bob. Action Retro, what's your holy grail vintage machine? That's a good question. I'd quite... Tell you what, yeah, that's a good shot, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. YouTube senses kicking in. My holy grail machine. I want to say the Atari Falcon, the Falcon 30, but it's just, I mean, it's technically it's a good computer and it's rare, and it was the replacement for the ST, so it's something I have quite a personal hi Bob, I've quite a personal connection to. But they're ridiculous money. They go for like $2,000 and they're just useless. Like, you can run ST games on it, but then you can run them on a real Atari ST. And I mean, I've got 4 of those, so how do I justify buying a Falcon? I mean, there's a few exclusive games for the Falcon, but they're quite good for like music production stuff. X68000, that's a good answer. But the X68000, it's a nice machine, and you know, it's got some awesome games on it, but it's not something I have a personal connection to. So, yeah, I'm going to say the Atari Falcon. I quite like the original, like the Altair machines as well. You know, the blue one, like Moss had behind him in the IT Crowd next to the Atmos. Again, it would be pretty useless, a pretty useless thing to own, but just very cool to have. ZX81, yeah, you see, I actually saw a ZX81 in real life for the very first time just the other week, and I was amazed. They're really tiny. You know, in my mind, it was, I mean, I know the Spectrum's not all that big, but the ZX81's like half the size, and I mean, it was kind of, I don't know what I was expecting. Oh, Neo Geo for a Holy Grail machine. That's an excellent suggestion. But to be fair, a Neo Geo, if I wanted one that much, I probably would have bought one by now. So, I love the joysticks, but... or Vectrex. Our local retro shop in Leicester when I was growing up had a Vectrex in the window. And I used to go there, going to town as a teenager, had guitar lessons in Leicester. And we used to spend the afternoons wandering around, and it was there for years. They were trying to sell it for like 400 quid or something. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, whenever the Vectrex comes up, I always kind of think back to that. This is why I volunteer at the Museum of Computing. You see, that's good, yeah. You know, if I could volunteer at a place like that and play with this stuff all day, it might save me a lot of money. I have to say, I'm having a very nice time, and I'm really, really grateful that there's 30 of you still here watching. I'm actually, I'm really pleasantly surprised. I just want to point that out. So thank you. Yeah. There's still a couple of things we could look at. I'll just drink my coffee. See you're all chatting away. The background music, incidentally, I wasn't going to do. I literally worked that out about 15 minutes before I hit the go live button on this stream. It's Spotify, essentially. I've loaded up what's supposedly a royalty-free playlist that's not going to get me banned from YouTube, but we'll see. Action Retro, love your channel, huh? Are you talking to me or are you talking to someone else? Are you talking to the digital orphanage? Because if you are, that's definitely justified. Can you show me the Romero head? I might buy it from Romero's shop. I didn't realise he was selling them separately. Yeah. It's a solid pewter. It's a very lovely thing. Quite a hefty thing. Obviously, if you played Doom 2 and cheated and no-clipped your way through the Icon of Sin, you'll know that John Romero's head is basically the ultimate end boss in Doom 2. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that was, well, there you go. So yeah, it's nice, it's solid, it's just the kind of thing, you know, a decapitated, disembodied head, just the kind of thing you want to stick on your mantelpiece, really. I like the, I like all of these, to be fair. Yeah, anyway. I would have been here earlier, kind of in the middle of modding some Mega Drives. Well, you made me cheat on the Amiga. I've just got here, could you start again? Well, Dave Q, this tour will be available to replay once the stream is over. Tempted by the limited run full-size Doomslayer's helmet. Yeah, I saw that earlier. I don't know what to make of that. I do love my Doom stuff. I'm just not sure about spending a lot of money on these kind of modern reissues just for the sake of having them. Yeah. Anyway, there's only a few more. Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll box this light gun back up before it gets stood on. So just before we continue and get onto the really interesting stuff, not that any of that wasn't really interesting, but my particular favourite stuff, I've just spotted under the desk. I have to be careful how I hold this because it does have my address on it. This box. And can any of you guess what this box is? Anyone who's been in my chat room on the Retro Man Cave Discord server should be able to guess. Any ideas? I know I'm going to have to wait 30 seconds for them to come through because the chat's completely useless, but yeah, I'll give you a clue. It's something to do with my projects and pickups videos that I do at the end of every month. Am I a fan of the new Doom? Yes, I'm a massive fan of the new Doom. I have to say, I think I prefer 2016 to Eternal. I played 2016 to death, and I think it's an amazing game. I think it's up there with the original Doom games. Eternal, it's still an excellent game, but I think they've just perhaps overcomplicated it slightly. It's kind of lost a bit of the essence of what made it, what really appealed to me. I mean, I haven't quite finished Eternal. I got to a point and just it was very samey, and I just got distracted by other things. But yeah, I love the new Doom games, and the fact that they're now obviously they're id Software, ultimately owned by Microsoft now, due to the announcement the other day. Both Romero and Carmack have both expressed an interest in getting involved with some of their old franchises again. I assume Doom would be pretty high on the priority list for them. Commander Keen, obviously there was a project to sort of modernise that and release it as a mobile game, which thankfully they cancelled because it looked bloody awful. But getting John Romero and John Carmack on a new Commander Keen game, I think would be awesome. I think they could do something really cool with it. So, yeah. Yes, it's the scanner. Haha. Yeah, so yes, I had this idea. So I'm on Patreon. Obviously, no pressure at all to sign up. I'm not going to sit here and try and sell it to you, but I'm on Patreon. It's a website where subscribers can pay people like me, creators, whatever you call us. But ultimately, this isn't my full-time job. I'm lucky enough to have a job that gives me the freedom to be able to do this. So I thought, with the money that my patrons are giving me every month, I'd buy something for the collection every month. So I'm up to about 30 quid a month in Patreon money now. And this was suggested to me by Andrew S, I believe, who is in the chat. So I'm going to unbox this in my projects and pickups video and try and get it set up. It is a hand scanner for the Atari ST. It comes with a cartridge-based interface, and basically I've been told by my supporters that I'm not allowed to open this until I actually come to record the video, so I've got no time to prepare or test if it actually works. They want to see the actual genuine process of me trying to get this thing working. So yeah, it should be fun. Also, was pointed out that there was an ST format special all about hand scanners, which is an issue that I do have. So I'm going to incorporate that. Obviously, these are also going to be part of the same video, so I'm going to incorporate that into the video as well. So look out for that one. That should be next week, I think. Ooh. Ooh. Who was your first patron? Who was my first patron? SLR Mod Shop, who is in the chat, or who was in the chat at one point, was a very early patron of mine. Don't put me on the spot like that. I appreciate each and every one of my patrons, no matter how long they've been with me and how much they donate. I'm just glad that someone appreciates what I'm doing enough to want to give me some money, and that's my way of kind of giving something back. Isn't it time for a PCBWay advert? Mark Central, Patreon, you say? What's that? Mark Central is a patron of mine. Let's not dwell on the whole Patreon thing anyway. I don't want to do the hard sell. That's not how I roll. Let's get on with looking at some stuff. I'm all tangled up. This is not good. How have I done this? I think it's inevitable that if you put more than one wire in close proximity to each other, they will become tangled. When did I start Patreon? Fine. I started Patreon not long after I started the channel, and I only did it to reserve my name, to be honest. I wasn't really looking. I mean, I set up the one tier on there because you need to have a tier, which was just $1 a month, and I didn't really think much more of it until I had an email saying that someone signed up for it. So I had to go through and kind of add some rewards and things. So patrons get videos 24 to 48 hours early, but I'll occasionally go on there and like do some behind the scenes photos and stuff. But do I have anything with genuine Sanwa arcade parts? I do have some arcade stuff. Oh. The arcade stuff is up there at the back. It's behind the PC games. I would make a huge mess trying to get to it, so we'll leave that for another time. I think, if you don't mind. But yes, I have an Astro City arcade machine control panel, which I believe does have genuine Sanwa arcade parts. It's the 2-player panel with the 6 buttons per player. It is my dream to own an Astro City arcade machine at some point, but I just haven't got room for one at the minute. Tech streamer strangles himself live with webcam cable. I don't know if you could describe me as a tech streamer. Sell me a Mega STE, please. I don't have a Mega STE. Is that a Goat Simulator goat? It is. It is the official Goat Simulator plush goat. I was a huge fan of Goat Simulator when that came out. Love that game. I haven't played it for a while, but I think they got a bit too silly with the expansions and stuff. But yeah, cool game that. I know the right people to get you an Astro if you wanted. Well, I've made inquiries. I have people. Let's just say that. But I've managed to resist so far. These are pretty cool. These are the Hot Wheels Atari-themed cars that they did a few years ago. Just like having them hanging around. The glue keeps coming unstuck and they keep falling off, so they're probably completely worthless. That one I left in the window, and that one. So they faded quite a lot. I've got, incidentally, talking about the window, I've got UV film on the window in this room. So hopefully that should stop any of this stuff fading. It doesn't half absorb a lot of heat when it's sunny out though. Makes it very warm in here. Cabs are perfect under the stairs. Well, we've got a pantry under our stairs. I'm not sure the wife would appreciate it if I chucked all of the food away and replaced it with an arcade machine. Does Catherine know you make inquiries about an Astro City arcade machine? I don't know, Chris. She does now. If she's still here, she may well have fallen asleep by now. So, anyway, up here we have a boxed XEGS. The Atari XE game system, it runs all the same games as the 800. The Atari 8-bit computers are mostly compatible with each other. That has the SIO port on it, so it's actually basically a full-blown computer, so you can connect floppy drives and your modems and stuff to it. Oh no, apparently she didn't know. Well, she knows now. Yeah, these I bought from, these are Nintendo playing cards that I bought from Super Potato in Akihabara when we went there a couple of years back. Believe it or not, we went to Super Potato and I only bought some little bits and bobs. I also bought some Mario boxer shorts. For some reason I decided to get small, which, you know, in the UK wouldn't be a problem, but apparently a Japanese small is much smaller than a UK small, and they're pretty obscene, to be fair, and I think I've only worn them the once. I love this show. So I also have the Atari 5200. That wasn't released in the UK, that's another import. It's, let's get these Lynx games out of the way. So that's kind of, it's famous for two things, really, the 5200. One being that it's one of the biggest and heaviest consoles ever made, and two, the controllers for it are absolutely rubbish. I did make a video, I think it was like the second video I ever made on my channel, where I fitted the gold contact upgrade kit for the controllers. It's a massive improvement, I can highly recommend it. Probably doesn't turn it into a console, but there's also the trackball controller, that is excellent. That's a really sturdy and professional piece of kit, but there aren't that many games that support it. When did you go to Japan? 2018. It was July. We went. Was it July? We went for 3 weeks. Technically our honeymoon, I guess. So we started in. Where did we start? We started in Tokyo. We did Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima. I went across that way. Some of the countryside. Yeah, big until the PS5 arrives. Don't think I've ever seen an Atari 5200 in action. Yeah, well, I also fitted the ultimate Atari video mod to quite a few of these Atari consoles. I also have a shop where I sell them, although I'm out of stock at the minute because I'm waiting for some more to arrive. So I modded this. This has an S-video and composite output. But yeah, if you look for that 5200 video on my channel, I did capture some footage from that at the time, so you can see some of the games in action. It's essentially based on the 8-bit computer architecture, although it doesn't run the same cartridges. I don't think there's any really exclusive games that are worth having for it. Missile Command is pretty good on there because it's got the trackball and the analog joysticks. There's a few games like that, Centipede, I think. Pac-Man, the usual sort of arcade classics, are absolutely terrible with the analog joysticks. It just doesn't work well at all. Marble Madness. Marble Madness. I don't know what to say about that. Yes, the Jaguar. So obviously I've already, for the newcomers to the stream, I showed my Jaguar. I've got the Game Drive flash cart for that, which I reviewed in a recent video. Excellent flash cart. That's the Reproduction Pro controller that it's also a very cool piece of kit. The games, there were 50 commercial releases for the Jaguar. In its heyday, I think I've got about 17 here. I don't know if anyone wants to count them. Nothing particularly rare or exciting. That Zool 2 is actually an empty box. That's probably, if that was in there, that would be the most expensive Jag game that I own, but fortunately the boxes are very cheap. I didn't want to spend a fortune on it, but I do love the boxes and I do love the Jaguar, so it made sense to me to at least have it represented here. The XE box looks strange for Atari. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's pretty unique. It doesn't kind of fit in with the rest of their stuff. This is pretty cool. Speaking of the 5200, this is a prototype Pac-Man cartridge. Returned to Prototype Lab, Consumer Division, Software Department. There are some fakes of these going around, but I took this one apart and it's got all sort of period correct 1970s EPROMs and stuff in it, and a PCB and everything's all proper Atari branded, so I believe that's a genuine one. I didn't spend a fortune on that actually, so I don't really understand why the seller let it go so cheap, but yeah, one of the I also did try that in the 5200 and it doesn't work, so I assume the EPROMs have gone bad. They do suffer pretty badly from bit rot. I could reflash some. They have been dumped by other people, but maybe a project for another time. Zarchos, thanks for joining us. Yes, have a good night. I hope it's not me that sent you to sleep. So up here, this is my original childhood joystick here. That's a Wico command control joystick. Excellent joystick that. I've got the Lynx. That's a fairly recent addition. Atari's handheld. I don't know if you know the story behind that. It was developed by... Who was it developed by? Big gaming company in the 80s. I don't know. And yeah, Atari basically ripped them off and screwed them over, and the company that developed it, Epyx, EPYX, developed that Supposedly working with Atari. Atari ripped them off to the point where they ended up going bust, and Atari ended up buying the links off them very cheap. So most of the good games on it are Epix games. There's some really good exclusive games on the links, and I only recently learned that Chip's Challenge, which I'd always thought of as a Windows game, part of the Windows Entertainment Pack, Chip's Challenge actually started life as an Atari Lynx game. So that's kind of the Atari Lynx's contribution to gaming history. Epix. Is it worth attempting a dump of the cart? The Pac-Man cart? Yeah, I mean, I do have an EEPROM reader and writer, and yeah, at some point, it would be interesting to see if there is actually anything left of the original data on there. I've just realised I skipped a shelf, so I've got these 7800 here. 7800, great system with some great arcade ports, but they put an absolutely rubbish sound chip in it, so completely ruined the whole thing, really. Also got my Atari calculators. I've started to get into those recently. They're all very nice. That one's still got the original film on the screen. I don't think that's even been used. That's the box for it there. This one, I was importing some stuff from America, and this caught my eye. This needs retro brighting. A nice printing calculator, Atari branded. So I'll do a restoration video on that at some point in the near future. Although we are rapidly running out of retro bright weather here in the UK. So yeah, 7800. That's just my JVC PVM. That's on the wall. That's a Mr. Driller arcade marquee, as would have sat on the original arcade cabinet in Japan. Anyway, back up to the top shelf. So we've got the 2800. This was only released in Japan. It's the Japanese version of the Atari 2600. It has these really cool controllers, which the center parts, not only are they joysticks, but the center parts here actually rotate. So you can use them as spinners as well. So it's like a joystick and a spinner in one. So a paddle controller for your Pong type games and that kind of thing. I was going to say Breakout. A few nice boxed Atari joysticks there. Yes, David Watts, the Commodore calculators are very cool. I think all the computer companies at the time kind of got in on the branded calculator action, didn't they? There's some really nice early Sinclair ones with the early red LED displays. They're really cool. So yeah, Atari 2800. That I was going to install. I'll probably put a UAV mod in that, like all the other consoles. I did get my hands on the RGB mod for the 2600, which I was going to put in that, and another unfinished project. Totoro, yep, that's a gachapon toy from Japan. Got a few of those. I've got a Hello Kitty as well. Oh, the Atari Touch Me. Well, handheld game. This is pretty cool. I made a video on this, quite an early one on my channel. If you remember Simon, the old Milton Bradley game, where you have to press the different coloured pads as they light up in the same order. The story behind this is that Atari actually invented it as an arcade game, and then Milton Bradley copied it, and then because that was so successful, Atari copied them. So they copied a copy of their own game. These were never released outside of the US. It runs on a 9-volt battery. That's fun. It still works great. And then up here we've got the box for my 2600 and some boxed games for it. It's not the super rare and valuable chess piece box. Do you have much Nintendo? Yeah, I've got my Famicom stuff. I'm not sure if you were around at the beginning when I went through the Famicom. But yeah, I've got a few Game Boys. I've got a Pocket. I've got a Colour. Yeah, this is a Colour. So this has been modded with the Ben Ven. Oh, there's no batteries in it. The Ben Ven LCD screen. So the screen on that's pretty amazing. Got the EverDrive flash cart for that as well. So I've got all the games on there. I had the yellow one as a kid, so that's not my original one, but liking the tour, thank you very much. What CPUs do I have here? Well, this is just an odd collection of chips. I've got the Cyrix, or is it an IBM branded one? I can't remember. Yeah, an IBM branded Cyrix 686 chip. Other than that, they're just things that have odd things that I've pulled out of machines. I think there's a 6502 there. That's that gold one, that gold ceramic one. That's an 8087 math coprocessor for the 5150. I don't even know what's that. I don't even know what that. Oh, that's a 6502. That's the 8284. That's a clock oscillator chip. This is incredibly boring stuff. And up in this corner, I have some Pong games. The two original Atari Pongs. They are there in the boxes. That one I have composite modded, so I can actually connect it to a modern TV and play with it. And then there's Super Pong, which has the 4 different game variants, although they're all basically just Pong. We've got the famous Atari 640 joysticks as well, the black version and the XE grey version. So, I think that's it. Actually, that's my Japan rail pass from our trip to Japan a couple of years ago. When I get a bit sad, I look at that and think of the amazing freedom that it affords. And that's a good tip, actually. If you do ever find yourself wanting to go to Japan as a tourist, you have to apply for this before you go. You can't get one once you get there. They're only available to foreign tourists, and they're amazing. You can basically go everywhere with it. Proper professional with all the sound dampening. Well, you say professional. I essentially just bought it on Amazon and just sort of stuck it up everywhere. I mean, I've got it on the ceiling as well. These panels on the ceiling are such a pain. They keep falling down in the middle of the night, and I keep having to stick them back up. And they're stuck up with double-sided carpet tape, and tried a few different things, gluing them to plastic and that kind of thing, but they still keep falling down. Hi Neil, good to see Neil in the chat. I thought I was about done, but yes, this is is that the Shinkansen rail pass? It is indeed. Shinkansen's amazing. Oh, good to see Neil here. Unfortunately, you've missed the tour, unless you've been lurking all along. No, not much travel happening at the moment. I mean, I was hoping to go back to Japan sooner rather than later. I'm not sure if the wife's still in the chat, but I know she's very keen to get back. But yeah, obviously it was going to be the Olympics this year, so I don't think we were going to go this year because it would have been crazy anyway. But maybe try and get back for next year. Might be some good deals on flights, I'm not sure. Right, Neil wants to start the tour again. So, hi everyone, Reese here from ctrl-alt-rees. Welcome to my tour and my very first stream. No, you're gonna have to watch it. You're gonna have to watch it back later, Neil, I'm afraid. You've missed the boat on that one. Should we have a look at one of these Pong machines? Let's get one out for you. Talk to me offline about Japan. That's fine, Chris. Yeah, obviously I've got my chat room on the I know you're in my chat room on Neil's Discord. So yeah, any questions about Japan? I'm more than happy to answer. I love it. I'm doing Japanese lessons on Duolingo as well. Konnichiwa, konnichiwa, minasan. Hajime mashite. Anyway, this is my boxed Pong. This was the first Pong. What's the model number? C100 or something on this? I can't remember. Yeah, C100. So this is the original Atari C100 Pong. This was released in, I'm going to say 1975. No one's going to question that, are they? How 70s. Action Retro. Do I ever mess with any old Apple or Macintosh stuff? I went through a bit of an Apple phase. I had a Mac Mini as my main computer for quite a while. It's kind of where I started with my video editing stuff. I had a Firewire camcorder, a digital 8 camcorder. Yeah, I've got the old Mac. I don't know if you saw this if you were here earlier in the tour, but I've got that waiting to sort of do something with that at some point. I do love the old Macs. Anything 68,000 based is good with me. My trousers tend to flares just looking at the box. Well, so yeah, Pong for your home TV. So obviously the concept of plugging something into your TV and playing with it was pretty novel when this thing was designed. You know, consoles weren't a thing. So I've got the box for the battery eliminator, which is essentially just a fancy word for a power supply. Obviously that's 110 volt power supply. You can run this thing on batteries as well, making it very portable, which of course is very useful in the 1970s when portable TVs weren't invented. So that's the original machine in all its glory. It originally had an RF cable, so you plugged it into your TV and tuned into it. I've composite modded it, like all my other consoles, so it has the RCA jack, so you can plug it into a TV. Also, the sound originally would have come through an internal speaker, but I've also hooked that up so you can connect it to a TV or an amp or whatever. The other very 1970s aspect of this is the manual. So yeah, some really cool illustrations in the 70s, very 70s looking. That's a cool thing. So if I had a much bigger game room, I'd probably frame all of the manuals and things and put them up on the wall. But yeah, unfortunately, if I keep buying this stuff, I won't be able to afford a bigger house to have space for a bigger game room. Anyway. Yes, Neil. I saw that Streamlabs defaulted to 720p, and I thought, well, I've bought a 1080p webcam, so I'm damn well going to use it. So I bumped it up to 1080, and now there's a massive amount of lag. And what I should have done is spoken to the experts, but I didn't. Well. Anything else you want a closer look at? Do we want to have a look at some PC gaming, or? Kind of. I originally said that, you know, if I was lucky, I'd maybe go for 2 hours, but we're kind of approaching that already. That's what my patron income is for. Well, I think I'm a long way off buying a house with my patron income, but you never know. One day, man can dream. So I also set up this other view with the video capture card. I'm damn well going to use it. Just bear with me 1 second. there we go. So this is hooked up to my 486. Let's stop this music. Mute that. What is your top DOS game? Doom. Yeah, you're welcome, the Rushton. Yeah, I've really enjoyed showing it off, actually. I've never streamed before in my life. This is literally the first time. I honestly didn't know what to make of it going in, but I've actually had a really, really great time just sort of talking through everything. It's great that people out there are interested in it. Maybe one day I'll team up with Neil and we'll open a museum. He can handle all the Commodore side of things, and I'll do the Atari side of things. How's that sound, Neil? Are you using a VGA splitter cable? I am, yes. I have. I do also have the CRT hooked up. Looks quite high res for Windows 3X. Yeah, well, this has got a VLB. It's an Advanced Logic 2228 VLB graphics card. I think it's got 1 meg of RAM. You can actually go higher than this. I think it will go up all the way up to like 1280 by 720 or something. But it just looked odd. We've got some... Yeah, so this computer, I have a network card in here. I don't think it's going to... When I booted it up, I had an error to do with DHCP. I think it's being awkward. But yeah, I have a Windows share on my NAS. Yeah, it's not working at the minute. And I can transfer files to it by dropping them on my NAS and then just going to the Z drive on my 486 and copying them across. And that's to me seems insane that Microsoft would maintain that level of backwards compatibility, that I can copy files from a Windows 10 machine to a Windows 3.1 machine. But there you go. Ralph, thanks for joining us. Nighty night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Ralph's channel, by the way, if you like my stuff, you'll love Ralph's channel. He's constantly tinkering with things and fixing things. He was playing with an Acorn Electron recently. So, you know, if you're looking for some cool channels to subscribe to and check out, definitely have a look at Retro Tech Ralph. Yes, night was. Good to see you. Thanks for sign on to AOL. Yeah, AOL 2.5. In a minute, you'll sign on to America Online. No, let's not do that. No. So yeah, this is the old AOL interface. It used to be possible to actually connect to AOL over a LAN. I don't think you can with version 2.5. But I just put it on here for nostalgia value. I think this is actually the US version rather than the British version that I had, or that we had. Best of Entertainment Pack, absolutely. Did you have to tweak some group policy settings to allow it to connect? No, Neil. It's just a standard SMB share on my NAS. It's a Drobo, so it's probably Linux based, probably Samba, and it just works. I mean, there's no password protection or anything on there, but yeah, it works. Drag stuff from the Windows 10 machine onto the NAS and then copy them onto the Windows 3.1 machine, so it's effortless. Yeah, Best of Entertainment Pack. So favourite games, obviously Ski Free, Jezball, that's a great game. Chips Challenge, if you want to hear some Chips Challenge with the Roland Sound Canvas, obviously it's a very worthy use for such a high-end piece of hardware. Is it working? Is it muted? Yeah, why not? It's not working. Windows setup. No, that's not what we want. Do you need any RS-232 56K modems? No, I don't think I need those. No. Ah, yes. Check this out. Oh, it's working, but it's muted. Nope, it's not muted. I've broken the settings. I need that if I want working audio. Ah. Is that working? That's not coming through. See, my laptop is now where the keyboard should be, so. Everything's so tangled up, I think I just pulled on the MIDI cable, so. Here we go. Can you hear the music okay? I assume you can hear the music. Oh. So this music is coming courtesy of the Roland Sound Canvas. Professional high-end MIDI device, which we're currently using to play Chip Challenge. As you do. Oh, yes. Don't hear any music. Oh. What have I done? Ah, try that. Thanks for joining us, Action Retro. Good to see you. Do we have music yet? Yeah, well, I can hear the sound fine through my headphones, through the video capture device, but it's just not coming through to you, which is odd. Well, that's a shame. I'm not sure what's going on with that. And everything was going so well, wasn't it? Oh well. Yeah, well. Tell you what. Bear with me a second. Let's do this on the fly, shall we? Let's do it live. Ooh, there I am. This is very professional. Oh, that's changed. That looks promising. Yeah, I'll drag that under the background. Oh, is it working? Oh, turn it off and on again. How we roll. I feel like I should commit suicide now. Obviously, just so we can hear that bummer. Let's do it.
Bummer.
There we go. How's the volume? Is it okay?
Bummer.
Let's just make this a bit bigger. Whee! I learned everything I know about OBS from Neil. Obviously, it has to be perfect in the centre as well. There we go. So, part of the reason I wanted to do some gaming on this stream was to show off how good the sound canvas sounds. Thanks. I'm not sure. Hi, Rach. It is Canyon.mid, yeah, Canyon.mid and Passport.mid are the two MIDI files that are used as background music in this version of the game. Yes, Vincent, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night. I feel like there's something under. Yes, I remember.
Bummer.
Oh, there's fire under that one. That's not cool, is it? It's very sneaky. Why is it frozen up? So anyway, what I wanted to do with this stream was show off the Roland sound canvas, because obviously I had the video that came out today all about DOS MIDI devices. So let's move this, because that's just in the way there. Because there's something you should just sort this webcam out, sorry. There we go. So someone asked earlier about my DOS games, and one game that I wanted to do was Dark Forces, because I think you have to hear this intro on the SC88 because I think it sounds epic. So I'm probably going to get a copyright strike for this, but it'll be worth it. It's not like I'm monetized anyway, so. Hi, Jake. Check this out. Hi, Jake. Did I already say hi? You missed the tour. I don't know. You can always watch it back once the stream's over. Anyway, you've heard enough of that. So we will, where are we? We'll start again at the beginning, shall we? Yeah. Because the music and the sound in this game is just so cool.
There he is, stop him! You there, stop where you are.
Yeah.
You there,
This is running on an actual 486. Yeah, this is a DX4 100. There's a modern patch for the game that I've installed that improves the mouse look and some other things as well. You can indeed look up and down, yep, with the mouse. WASD controls, like a modern first-person shooter. Where am I going? Down this way. Can't remember where I'm supposed to go. I think there's a whole outside bit with a secret area, but... Oh no! Oh, see, this is what I get for chatting. I don't know how people like Mean Machine Dean manage to chat and play games at the same time. Right, that's the exit. Let's find the Death Star plans before it will let me leave. I believe they're in here. Those maps. Yes, thanks Retrograde Scene, thanks for joining us. Oh, and Reenthused. And Jake. Sorry, I'm neglecting my chat because I'm getting carried away with Dark Forces. I'm sure you understand. So yeah, this is running on my RM486 under DOS. It's the MIDI card, the music, courtesy of the Roland Sound Canvas SC88, and the sound effects are courtesy of the Sound Blaster 16. Pentium 90.
This is too easy. Now I get to my ship.
Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah, this computer's just slightly too old for Duke Nukem. It runs, but I wouldn't want to play it for any length of time. Oh, I've run out of ammo. Oh my goodness. auto aim going on there. I'm gonna die again. Nice. And then, unlike all other games of the area, you get to the end of the level and you press escape and click on next mission rather than pressing the button or going through a door, which I always thought was a bit odd, but yeah.
Kyle delivers the plans
These
to the
cutscenes
Rebel
are-
Alliance. Soon afterwards, the Death Star is destroyed.
I'll
But
be quiet.
even as the Alliance celebrates this victory, another sinister plot is set in motion that will become an even greater concern for the Rebellion.
The Emperor has approved your test demonstration, General Mock.
Thank you, Lord Vader. What I unveil today will mark a new era for the Empire. We will be able to decimate the rebels just as we did the Jedi Knights. At last, the Emperor's war will be filled only with the glory and beauty of decisive victory.
A noble cause, General. I hope the demonstration lives up to your claims. Proceed.
With pleasure. Dark Trooper, release.
Very impressive, General.
Richard,
The
thanks for
Emperor
joining
will
us.
be most pleased.
Me?
Continue with your project.
Certainly, Lord Vader.
Thank you, Commander, for responding at such short notice. The Empire has been keeping us on the run since the destruction of the Death Star. 5 days ago, the Empire attacked one of our secret bases in the city of Talay.
This is TAC base to anybody out there. Please, we're under Imperial attack. There was no warning at all. Total devastation. They broke through our shield. They broke through our shield!
TAC base was destroyed within minutes. Many innocent people in the surrounding city, as well as the rebel staff, were killed. Intelligence thinks that this may be an act of retaliation for the destruction of the Death Star.
Interesting. This looks like it could be a normal Imperial attack, except for those sounds.
Very perceptive, Commander. I know you understand that all we discuss here is classified. This Imperial officer, Crix Medine, wishes to defect to the Alliance. He has supplied us with information on the
Yes,
development of a new
Neil, thanks for
Imperial
joining us.
weapon.
It's very cool of you
Those
to drop
sounds
in on the
you heard, we
stream.
believe, come
Good to
from
see you here.
that weapon. A new type of stormtrooper, the Dark Trooper.
A new stormtrooper that can take out a rebel base that quickly? I should have kept working for the Empire.
The Rebel Command is not taking this lightly. They have authorized me to hire you to find out if there is a threat, and if there is, to shut it down. That is, if you are still on our side.
This could be interesting. Alright, I'm in. But I think I'll need some help in this one. I want Jan Ors as my mission officer.
Certainly. Then I will let Jan brief you further on your mission objectives. Thank you, Commander. And may the Force be with you.
So there we have it, scenes. Right, I think I'm going to have to go soon. I haven't actually had any food yet tonight. But thanks everyone for joining me. It's been a really, really good first stream. I think I'm definitely going to be doing this again at some point if there's demand. We'll just play a bit of level 2, shall we? Oh, I'm out of ammo again. Okay, I'm going to be dead soon anyway.
Set blasters on full.
Nice stream, keep it up. Dance for me. That's cool, I'm having a good time. I'm getting very hungry.
You're not on. You there, stop where you are.
Yep, Night Mark, thanks for joining in with the fun. Where do I go? Where to go?
Stop, rebel scum. You're not on.
Loads of dudes down here. So there's a headlight you can turn on somehow. Ah,
Surrender immediately.
door opens from the other side. I think what we do actually is Night Johnny, thanks for joining us. Ah! Oh, I'm dead. Right. I think that's been a very successful stream. I think it's time to call it a night. So yeah, thanks everyone. It's been really great. I've really enjoyed it. Had a great time. Really glad I did this. Let's go to back to the big view. So yeah, for anyone who missed the first part of the stream, I did a tour of all of my collection here, all of my my Atari stuff, my PC stuff. The stream will be available to play back, obviously once it's finished. If you want to go and check that out. This is ctrl-alt-rees. I'm Rees. I fix old computers. I upgrade stuff. I do all sorts of stuff. So if you're into retro computing, retro gaming, that kind of thing, and you're not already a subscriber, I would very much appreciate a subscribe. Also a like on this video helps to improve my visibility of my channel and helps me to grow it. So yeah, thanks everyone. It's been really good, like I said, and I shall see you next time. Cheers.